Oh my gosh, I can't live stream on YouTube. It's not working.
No.
This happened to Merc the other day too. We are live on Twitch, I believe.
Yes, we are.
But I think YouTube's been having
Behind the
issues.
scenes.
Why is it not working for you? Oh, here.
Say what?
I think it's gonna go in a second. I'm getting an ad here on YouTube. Yeah, we're on. We're live.
On YouTube?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, shoot. We're live. Not on my end, but hey, I'll trust Dave and it's working. So yeah, you guys. We are live on YouTube and Twitch, our newest channel. So welcome everybody who is here with us. Welcome to episode 18, right? Episode 18 of the Backlog. We're here with a special guest, but first let's say hello to Shar. Go for it. Say hello.
Hello, it's me, Shar.
Back at it again. And yes, our special guest here is Dave, also known as Super Metal Dave 64. Go ahead and let the people know who you are, Dave.
What's up, guys? I am Dave. Like she said, thanks for having me on. I cover Nintendo and tech stuff on my channel. Go check me out there. And thanks for having me on. We're going to talk some Final Fantasy and some more stuff.
Yes. Some good topics today. I got the Final Fantasy experts, at least compared to me. So yeah, that's going to be very interesting. But yeah, before we start with the topics, this is kind of a thing I'm going to do with, or what we're going to do with our guests. So Dave, we want to know, what are your favorite games of all time? Maybe 3 games, 5 games. Give us a picture into like, what's your taste as far as gaming goes?
Yeah, so I have mostly older games as my top 5. As you can understand, I mean, I'm 39 years old. I've been around for a while, so I've played a lot of different games. So my top 5 that I have currently, and this is my top 5, it's Metroid Prime 1 on the GameCube.
Nice.
Super Metroid, SNES. Chrono Trigger, SNES. GoldenEye, N64, and Resident Evil 4 are my top 5.
Okay, some classics in there. That GoldenEye, that's cool. A lot of Nintendo, I noticed. I'm with it.
Yeah, and a lot of these games all have like personal feelings. You know what I mean? Like you get attached to certain things happen when you're a younger person, and you get attached to these games. And every single one of those games has like a story behind them for me that I could go on and on and on about. So they're all very special games to me.
That's awesome. Yeah, I could definitely relate to that. Especially, I mean, I grew up on Nintendo, so I always have these like fond memories of like I could visualize myself playing these certain games, you know? So that's cool.
Yeah, like GoldenEye, for example, that was like the game like I was playing like 2 years straight, just like with friends, going over their houses and playing multiplayer, and like 1997, 98 and everything. And that was just one of those games that was amazing like that. And then of course Resident Evil 4, the whole thing with that game was just mind-blowing at the time, and just so on and so forth. Those games are just amazing games.
Yeah, for sure. You mentioned GoldenEye, and I remember my memory of that game is getting my butt kicked in GoldenEye. 4-player, split screen. Good times, though. I love that stuff. So, okay,
yeah,
cool.
What we used to do was play 4-player and also just 2-player with License to Kill, with one-shot kills. And either with the hand slapping or like the Magnum. That was so much fun, because you'd be running around trying not to get hit the entire time with one shot and you die. So that was just like,
yeah, that's
really
cool.
fun.
That's fun. That's always a good time when you make your own rules and like kind of, that's fun. Cool. All right. So yeah, there you go. There's your Dave's favorite games right there. I like that. I like the Nintendo stuff. You already know. But what are we starting with? We're gonna start with, I guess, the biggest topic, the one we're all talking about. Everyone on Twitter's talking about.
Right in there.
We're going in, unless you want to hold off. I don't know. I say we go in.
Pull the trigger, dude. Do it.
Let's pull it. So, Final Fantasy VII Remake is out in the wild now. We're all playing it here on the podcast. I wanted to get your guys' impressions. Dave, I know you've played more than I have, and I know Shar has played even more. So, who wants to start? Who wants to give their impressions first?
I have so
You want to
many.
go first, Char, or me?
Me? Oh my
Alright, go
god.
ahead.
No, oh no. Okay. Oh shit. Impressions, dude?
Yeah, like what are you feeling? What are you thinking? What's your
Oh my
mind on right
gosh.
now?
Oh, without trying to be too spoilery. Oh fuck. Oh, it's good, guys. It's good. It's a good game. It's a good game. Um without trying to be too spoilery, I'm really enjoying seeing these characters that were previously like literal polygons having actual fucking emotion, and like it just hits different when you're able to see a character like more realistic, not super realistic, but like um to a point that like you can see their facial expressions and hear a voice. And oh my gosh, yeah, no, that's just really, I'm so excited to see more character interactions, just because it's actually making me give a fuck about the characters. When I played Final Fantasy VII the first time, I was a little bit older and I like was used to like playing retro games, but I don't know. And I still had like emotions for the characters in that game, but like not as strong as I'm having emotions about this game. Like it's crazy. Um, the the battle system is really nice. I have like mini gripes about it, but like I understand why they did what they did. So that's a cool thing to see. It's I like how the battle system is baseline, like pretty easy to understand, but like then it just like you can like build off of it as like your the difficulty increases and like you get used to the systems in the game. I really like how they did that. That's really nice. The difficulty spike isn't too bad actually, which is really good for new players, I think. At least I haven't real I've had some difficulty, but like I've understood why I've had difficulty, so it's like it's not like it's impossible
Yeah.
to adapt. It's easy to adapt to the system if you're failing at something, I think is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, it's easy to know what you're doing wrong, I think.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like, especially if you actually read all of like the tutorials and stuff, like, and to their credit, those tutorials are actually pretty concise, which I'm actually like thankful for, because most people will not sit there and read like
Mhm.
5 pages of one fucking tutorial. And like they're actually like, spread out quite good, like how like you get this new system when this happens and then it explains it to you. Like that's really well done, I too. But what else? The environments are great. I love environmental art, so this has just been it's been really really nice to see. And yeah, my treasure hunting OCD is being satisfied with puzzles to get to things. Um, yeah,
Okay,
it's fun.
okay.
I like it. I mean, I could probably actually start just a whole YouTube channel in this game. Like honestly,
Do it. Do it,
Oh
Shay.
my god, no, I can't. No, dude, don't make me do it, dude. Oh, the other thing I was thinking of is that the pacing is really good. Like, I know you guys probably haven't, like, maybe you haven't felt it quite yet, but like, the pacing in this game is actually like god tier, I think. Like, I played this game for 10 hours yesterday, didn't feel like 10 hours.
Oh, I
Like,
see.
Yeah,
like,
you've played a
and
lot. Yeah.
yeah, for everybody right now, the game has been out 2 days and I put 15 hours into it. So, I mean, that says something. But I definitely like even like the slower parts, like there's like high action and then there's like a slow part. And even the slow parts like with like I don't know how far everybody is, but there's like side quests and stuff. And in the slow parts you got side quests to do. So you're always like running around, you're always busy, you're always doing something, but even when there's like not like high action, there's still action, which makes it feel like very um it's I don't know, it's very consistent with I don't know I don't know how to explain it.
Yeah,
It's just
I
it's
kind of get what
really
you're
nice.
saying. I was gonna say though, like maybe I have to play more, but I'm at what episode 7 or what are
You're
they calling the
on
chapters?
no,
Chapter
you're on
4.
chapter
Yeah,
Or
four.
chapter
chapter 4.
4. I don't know. I saw 7 in there. I'm like, okay, I'm not that far, but yeah, I guess chapter 4. And mine has been kind of like very high at first, and then it went kind of low because
Yeah.
of the side missions and fetch
Chapter
questing a little
3.
bit. The chapter 3
Chapter
part,
three.
yeah.
Yeah.
Now chapter 4 is like spiking up again. So maybe from here on out, the more I play, it'll be more like action, action, action. Is that what you're saying? Like the pacing as far as like that
Um
goes?
No, well, there's still like waves of action. So there's like action, like high action stuff, like the stuff you just went through is like high action, I would say. And then there's stuff, and then there's like a lull there where there's scenes like you go back or you know have more character interaction scenes
Right.
or backstory scenes or whatever. And I mean, it doesn't ever feel like you're just stuck on a part of the game, if that makes sense. Like sometimes in JRPGs or RPGs, you'll like stop, you'll like have a wall that you need to overcome, or something that you're like either you're like lost, or you're like, oh, I want to go treasure hunting, or oh, I want to go do this, or I have to level up and like you have to like grind or whatever. This game never feels like that to me. It feels like it's like even if you're doing side quests, it's like obviously there's side quests, but like they're always for like you can get items or you can get money to like buy more items or whatever. There's always like a certain like flow to it, which is really nice. And even in the parts where it's like leading up to like high action is still like you're running around, you're having character interactions on the way, like they're talking to each other while you're walking, which is done in games like really regularly now, but I still enjoy it, whatever. And then it's like environmental stuff, maybe a battle here or there, and then the high action, right? So yeah, no, just basically the pacing is really good. You just never feel bored, I think, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I get that. Before we continue, shout out to Beggy in the chat, asked if there's going to be
Hey.
spoilers. I said no, right? So we're all on the same page,
No,
I'm sure.
no
I am
spoilers.
No
so
spoilers.
trying so hard to not say spoilers, and I will probably not.
Okay,
I will not.
probably.
But we will talk about
No, I
gameplay
won't. I won't.
systems, though.
Yeah, the systems in the
Yeah.
game. Yeah.
As
for
far as
sure.
like the combat and just, of course, we just talked about pacing and things like that. But yeah, Dave, how about you? How are you feeling about this game?
I really like it. Now, I come from a different time period, kind of like, because I was more of a fan of the Final Fantasy VI and Chrono Trigger games, so I wasn't as nostalgic for Final Fantasy VII Remake. But I really like this game a lot. So that says something for how good this game is, because I wasn't necessarily the biggest fanboy of Final Fantasy VII like a lot of these other people are. So this game is really, really good, though. I mean, it's highly well made, and the battle system is really good. And what I like about the battle system is that it's simple, yet it's more complicated as well at the same time. And I really like how you can switch between the characters, and how you can switch their attacks on the fly. And what's really cool about it is if say you're trying to heal yourself, and you with Barrett, or you're with another character, and you're Cloud, you can actually heal yourself, and you don't have to wait for the animation to complete. You can switch to the other character like right away, and while the other character's healing, you can attack with the other one, and then you can kind of parry off each other and your attacks. And so when one character gets their attacks finished, so to speak, and they're doing their regular attacks, you can switch to your other character and do their power attacks while the other one recharges. So even though it's not turn-based, you can kind of make it turn-based yourself in how you choose to play the game. So if you just want to be Cloud and do everything by yourself and let your secondary character do their own thing, you can. But it works a lot better if you actually control both characters, trading off, taking turns in that sense, because you can inflict more damage from the choices you make as your secondary character with Cloud helping him. So it's really excellent how they did that, because it makes it a little bit more hard on you if you don't use your secondary character, you see. So I thought it's a really well made in that sense, and it rewards you for that play. So you're charging up your abilities with your secondary character, you go and use them, and then guess what? Oh, Cloud is ready for his big abilities now too, and you can go use those. And then you get good at dodging and then parrying and everything like that with Cloud or the other character they're using. And once you get that flow of going back and forth on the fly like that, the battle system is just fantastic. You really get into that flow, and you really get moving with the combat, and you're just wrecking people just nonstop.
Also, I'd like to add that even if you don't want to do that and switch between the characters, the R2 and L2 buttons, you can access the other characters' menus,
Right.
and you can if you need to heal but you can't heal yourself, and like you're whatever person is healing, you can just like hit R2 and then like go into their magic and like get them to heal you, and you can just keep going with your combo. It's like
Right.
you can play any way you want to. Also, you're talking about in chat with Biggie, you can customize the control mapping, and there's like hotkeys you can do, which is like life-saving. Because like in the beginning I was like, oh no, I have to go in and use my potions. Well, nope, I have a button for that, so you can just go in and like use a potion really quick. So those are fun.
that's really helpful. And I also like the upgrade system too. It's really easy to understand.
Oh my
with
gosh.
the SP for your weapons, like because you upgrade your weapons in this game, and you upgrade obviously your armor and your new weapons in general. But the materia is really important because you equip that materia onto your weapons or your armor or what have you, and you can get more abilities using that. And you got to be smart about it too, because like say you get this new item and you want to try it out. If you're not careful and you equip, say, a fire or an ice materia, and you accidentally take off your healing materia, then you could be screwed for the next battle without even knowing it. So you got to be careful about what you put in your materia there. And so that is key. And then you go into then you can go and upgrade those weapons in multi different tiers themselves. I think you have like, how many do you have? Like 2 or 3 different tiers of upgrades at least for each weapon, I think, right? There might be more. I haven't played enough of the game.
For the weapons, I've gotten it to go up to 3 cores in the weapons.
Yeah. Okay, yeah.
It just keeps expanding, basically, which is
exactly. Cool. It's like never ending, kind of like. So it's really cool because you can keep upgrading your weapons, and of course, you get new weapons. You can go and upgrade those, and you keep gaining levels, and you can gain your health and gain more defense through those upgrades as well. So it's really cool. It doesn't really have your typical type of upgrade system as other JRPGs do, but it has its own thing. It's simple, but yet complicated and different all at the same time. And so I really like it. I think it works really good.
So deep, man. Like the weapons alone are so deep because like all the weapons have their own base stats and like what they like do or whatever. So you can build one character to be more magic based, or you can build that character to be more attack based. And then on top of that, if you equip them with that certain weapon, then you can go into that weapon and give them specific like other abilities and like upgrades in the weapon itself. It's like, oh, so deep. Yes.
Yeah, and then you add on the summons on that. You got summons.
Oh my god, dude! Obviously, there's
I just saw that. Yeah, amazing. I just saw that for the first time. The end of my.
The summons are so cool, dude! And they,
my
oh my gosh!
Today.
And I don't know if Dave can relate, but they act like they are like it's the same kind of summoning as in Final Fantasy 12 for people who've played 12, where the summons like they act alongside you for like a certain amount of time. It's kind of like, and it's like 13. As well, I guess 12 and 13 both did this, where you summon something and it like fights beside you. But in this game, the summon will fight beside you and your team. Your team is still there. It's so good. I love it so much. And then it's so good. Also, shout out to the people making the system in the game are a lot of the same people who worked on Final Fantasy 13, one of my favorite Final Fantasies. So I really love this game right now. So, anyways, sorry, continue.
Yeah, and one more thing I want to talk about. I do have some criticism. Perfect. Like I said, I'm not a fanboy of the game, so I'm not like gonna say it's perfect or anything. So there is some flaws with the game, like the camera, for example. The camera is a little wonky sometimes, as far as being a little bit too close during battles and getting things caught in, on the wall and things like that, and losing your field of view. I don't really like that much, but it's a small gripe. And graphically the game's amazing, but there are some issues there, like in some of the towns where for some reason the textures are like really low quality for no reason at all.
Yes.
That was weird.
Yeah, so I was like, because and then on top of that, some of the NPC characters that you talk to face to face, they look like PlayStation 3 characters.
Yeah, it looks kind of spooky. It does.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just kind of off. Like
so much.
Like an off, like what's going on here? That looks off. That kind of thing.
I mean, maybe they're just paying respects to the PS2 days. They're like, hey, let's throw these old graphics in here.
I'm down with it, honestly. So many people are like, oh, the NPCs are weird, and I'm like, yeah, but like they can't animate the NPCs like the full. They can't go in and do that for everybody. So understand.
Then I don't know, but
Well, I mean, for Cloud's apartment, you would think his apartment would look better than that if he's staying,
Yeah, that's
you know what I mean? Like he's staying
True.
basically in a flat cardboard box is what it is. There's no texture detail or anything in the
they in the
room. So I'm like,
slums
what's
though.
going
They
on?
don't.
That's weird.
They can't afford that kind of great texturing in the slums.
look at Shard damage controlling. So
What?
Well, I mean, those are valid criticisms, I think. You
Yeah.
know, but
No,
the
yeah.
actual gameplay though, I think is really. Besides that,
yeah,
really
yeah.
fun.
No,
I'm curious
yeah.
though, you guys, with the graphics and the textures,
Mhm.
like just not being polished. Does this make you worried about the following games? Like, do you think they're rushing?
Not at all.
No.
No, if they already have, like, honestly, like, it looks fine to me. It looks good. It looks really nice in some parts, and in some parts you're like, okay, I kind of understand why they did that, you know? So I'm not necessarily, I wouldn't say I'm necessarily, like, worried, because they already have the, you know, the base game already there. So all they have to do is, like, add new characters and make new environments, and they've pretty much got the next game. I think most of the work is already done for them, in the way of like texturing and like the systems and all that. So unless they want to change it up in the next, I don't know how many games we're gonna get of this. Probably 2 more, maybe? Question mark.
There
We
should
don't
be
know.
at least 3 of them.
Yeah. So I think, yeah, I think they've already done all the hard lifting, and then they just have to like add on to it. I don't think it'll. I'm not really concerned, basically.
I think what they'll do maybe is like release a patch later, and they'll include some higher assets on those models that are missing them, like your sink and your door and your
Yeah.
floor and your walls and in your apartment, that kind of stuff. I mean, yeah, it's a small gripe, but it is kind of like distracting to the eye when you got like extremely high detailed environments. All of a sudden you're like face to face with nothing. Like there's like this blank texture. Like what happened in development here? But I don't think that's a big deal necessarily, but one theory I have on this game is that so many cooks in the kitchen basically for this game, we had those reports of it being under development hell for like 4 or 5 years, right? Like
Right.
Yeah.
multiple different teams working on the game. Maybe they changed a few things here and there. Some of these inconsistencies in how the game looks visually could be a result of the multiple hands touching the game, because you like Cloud and all his partners and the main characters in the game look way better than some of the other people you talk to. Like maybe they had a different team actually designing those NPCs compared to who's designing the main characters.
There's a ton of NPCs in this game, though. Just like the people walking around town is like, and there are lots of those people are like really. I'm actually surprised at like the diversity, and I shouldn't be. It's really dumb to say that, but like. You actually take a look at like if you guys are playing the game or whatever, go around and like look at all the NPCs in the game. Is like I haven't really been paying attention, but I don't think I've seen an NPC that looks the same as another one. Like there's not 2 NPCs that look the same yet.
Yeah.
But I mean, I could be proven wrong, but there's quite a bit of like a randomized like I don't know what I'm saying anymore. Anyways.
But Dave, you might be onto something with the whole too many hands on this project, because I was about to say too, like, yeah, these cutscenes especially look awesome. I mean, the character models like Cloud and crew, like you said, and then you go into the slums and you're like, what happened? Like this is looking crazy, especially his apartment and all that. And I was streaming that part, of course, and somebody was like, pay attention to the door, and I'm like, why? I'm thinking it's gonna be like a special moment, like paying tribute to the old game or something. Like I didn't know what to expect, and I'm like, and then I closed the door and I'm like, oh, this is what you mean. It just looked like flat and just no texture. It was weird.
I've only had that happen a couple of times, honestly. It's like the one that really everybody knows is the door, and then I think there was one more that I saw, but that was it.
It's one of those things where you're waiting for the texture to load, but it never loads.
It never does. Yeah, it never comes. Yeah, it is one of those things. And I was really kind of waiting there too and kind of looking at it, keeping my eye on it. And it's like, oh, I guess it's never coming.
Now that used to be a problem in Unreal 3 games back on the Xbox 360. You'd have a lot of games like that, like Batman Arkham City was a great example of that texture loading in late, because that's a problem with the engine. But that game, Final Fantasy VII, doesn't have that issue. It's a new game, Unreal Engine 4 based, so it's not really that. It's just simply a matter of them just not putting the detail in there in that part for whatever reason. I don't know why, but it's just weird.
Yeah, it is. It is strange. Yeah. Let me go ahead and say just my impressions because I'm like the noob of the group here. And if you watch my gameplay, you're probably going to make fun of me. But in between making fun of me, you will notice that I actually am making progress. Like I saw the flow today. Like you're talking about the flow, Dave, and how it's, how did you put it? Like it's hard but easy at the same time, or it's
complicated.
Complicated. There you go. That's the word I'm looking for.
Yet simple too.
Yeah, at the same time. And I started seeing that today. I started feeling it and like kind of switching between things quicker. And like I'm thinking about the next move and I'm guarding more often. And I'm trying to break out of the habits that I usually do, which is, like Shar says, the Bloodborne way, where I'm just dodging. And I found myself and I saw myself changing like as I was playing and like really seeing the flow kind of come alive, and that was cool. And I've seen people refer to this game and the combat system as like a fighting game. Have you guys been seeing that, or do you agree with that?
I saw that for Tifa. Them talking about how Tifa's fighting style is, but for Cloud, maybe they're saying that because Cloud's in Smash Brothers. But personally, I don't see it as a fighting game. That's just me.
I guess they mean like the complexity of like how you're fighting and how the combat is. I'm not really sure, but I've seen that opinion kind of going around, and I don't know if you
every
guys
character
have
is vastly, I don't want to say vastly different, but all the characters obviously have the same like base system. Then how you use that base system is up to you. Like why we keep saying that Tifa is a fighting game character is because she has
punches.
She punches, but she also has like an uppercut, but she also has a move that opens up to a new move. And if you use that move again, it opens up to another move. Like, and you can just like combo off
like
of
a
that
combo
kind of
thing.
stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She has kicks too, I believe, right? Yeah, she has lots of different kicks.
I think so.
I think a dash kick, I think.
I wonder,
but it's just more
Tifa, I think is what they're. I think it's more Tifa based of what they're talking about. A lot of these guys have Tifa a lot. I don't know why.
I wonder if it's just a case of like people who have a fighting game background and they just see things through a fighting gamer's eyes. Because sometimes I see that when I'm playing games, as far as seeing like Soulsborne stuff. I'll be like, oh, this dodge is like what I did in Neo or something, So I think it could be that too.
I also saw someone say it was like Devil May Cry 5.
See,
with Cloud. So I mean, because he has a sword, like most of the characters have swords though. So I don't see it that way because of the way you fight is not. You can, you can just button mash and you'll die. I mean, you'll win in the first part of it by just button mashing. You can get through it, kinda, but you can't do that for very long.
Yeah, you
got to use strategy.
Yeah, I'm definitely seeing that. Like, I knew that going in. I was like, I'm not going to just button mash this because there's more to it. I played the demo and I already got a taste of it. Like, no, you really got to kind of think this through and not make it hard on yourself. I saw you in the chat earlier, Shar. I felt attacked. You're like, it's simple. You said it's simple unless you make it difficult, kind of. I think that's what you said. I'm paraphrasing.
Yeah, I mean, it's
true, though.
You can play the game just using the regular attack and, like, dodge and, like, guard buttons, but it's not going to be so much fun for you. It's going to be hard. You can play the game like that, but you do have to remember that this is still a kind of like a Final Fantasy game. You have access to skills, you have access to like weapons, you have access to accessories that will help you. Like you have to remember all the other things that come with it. If you forget about that, like my friend did yesterday, who didn't actually know how to equip a bangle to him, and he was like confused at like how to even do the equipment screen. It can be hard, okay? It gets hard for people who,
if you make it hard, I guess.
If you make it hard, yeah.
And the interesting thing about the game too is that for every item you have, items, you have a materia magic spell that can do the same thing basically, even better usually. So there's a balance there you have to use. Like those items, I think, in my opinion, should be used out of like maybe last resort. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Until you level up your materia, which you just honestly, guys, all you need to do is take that materia into battle. It'll level up. if you don't level up your materia, if you don't know how to do that, if you don't realize that that's part of the system as well, it gets really hard if you just like spamming potions in battle, because that's not gonna get you through the game.
I feel attacked.
I'm
No.
not
You're
trying
right,
to attack
though. You're
you.
right.
I'm
No.
just saying that there's more parts of the system
Yeah.
than people
There definitely
realize, and
is.
Because
Yeah.
you can't,
need to pay
you can't
attention to
level up
it.
items, right? You have to
Yeah.
actually level up your materia. That'll be
Mhm.
better for you than using items. So yeah, just get used to using cure and not potions. I think you'll be better
Yeah.
off.
Yeah, I feel like I have to see it that potions are kind of like plan B. If you know what I mean? Like they're just kind of there, but
Yeah.
not, they shouldn't be the first choice. So I'm seeing that now.
They,
you know, I'm
they
seeing
are
that.
in the beginning, which is why it like kind of like lulls you into a false sense of security, because you're like, oh, I have so many
Yeah.
potions, I can use all
Yeah.
whatever. And then once you hit like maybe around actually where you are right now, or maybe even like chapter 3, you start to notice that those potions aren't really doing a lot for you, and you might need to like, you know, figure out a different way to cure or whatever, right?
That's
So
what it is. So it's
that's all-
it's
that's all
their
it is.
fault. They gave me the false sense of security. It wasn't my
All
fault.
right,
It was their
well,
fault.
You thought it
Oh.
was going to be hard right out of the bat? Yeah, come on.
And one thing we forgot to mention too was the enemies. Every enemy has a stamina meter, basically like
Yes.
a stagger meter is that's what they call it. So like you get them to stagger, and that is kind of like in Sekiro, how you get their stamina meter way up, or their stance meter, whatever you want to call it, and
Yeah.
and you can get into more damaging attacks when you break that down. So
Yeah.
that's really important too. So and one thing to keep in mind too in the chat and in Erica and whoever is that when you're attacking these enemies, every enemy is weak to something. So you can't just
Right.
use the same type of attack or same type of material on certain enemies. You have to use maybe fire on one person, ice on another person. That will get their stagger meter way up, and then you could break it easier with using fire or obviously early in the game it's fire for a lot of these enemies. Oh, fire works on a lot of these guys, and then you can get their staggering up and you can kill them really easily. So if you're just trying to use attack and dodge without using the materia, you're gonna have a really hard time.
Right. And
Yeah.
and when you do get those staggers and like even the parry, which I did execute today, that's super satisfying. Like I'm really liking once it's
parry
flowing
is
like that. I mean,
really
you're
good.
really feeling it and you're in the flow, and then you hit that. It's awesome. It's pretty cool. I enjoy that. And the music, let me just say the music in this game, like for the fighting.
My God.
Like some of the other stuff, like the slum parts are a little questionable music choices, but the battles, I'm really liking the music.
Oh my God.
Like I was
dude,
feeling
don't even
it.
get me
Feel
started
so-
on the music.
You feel so powerful. The music like empowers you, gives you power. Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
like-
stuff.
oh man,
Yeah.
the composer. I mean, Uematsu is obviously listed as one of the composers, but he literally only did the theme song. The main composer is the same composer for Final Fantasy 13, which is like one of my favorite OSTs. If you listened to our podcast last week, you'll hear me say that Final Fantasy 13 is one of my favorite OSTs ever of all time. So this game is just. Oh man, this OST, man. Anyway, I'm sure.
Well, they're remixing and redoing some tracks, right? Not these are like all re-recorded stuff.
It's yeah, they took the main like melody of a lot of the original songs, added made them new, and then on top of that they had to make the battle theme. So like, you know, when I don't know if anybody's experienced this in the game. I think Erica probably would have. But when you're running around, there's music, you know, whatever. There's field music, you're running around. And then you get into a battle, and the battle is so seamless that the battle music actually starts. So they had to make it so that the battle music actually plays into the field music. So they had to make you know, 2 to 3 tracks of like
different
everything.
variations.
And it's like,
Yeah.
oh my God, that's so good. Oh, anyway, sorry.
That's
Music
cool.
is really good.
Let me shout out these super chats real quick.
Yeah.
War Machine didn't leave a message, but just gave a little super chat. Appreciate that, War Machine. Thank you. And then Glinser asked a question. Said if Square Enix did a remake for only one game next gen, what game would you choose? They said I would choose Parasite Eve.
I would choose.
Eve needs a remake so bad though. Yeah.
I would Chrono Trigger because that's one of my top games.
I would go. I've been pushing for this for years, but I want Legend of Dragoon to come back.
You know what? I would agree with both of those because I would like to play them and you know, have them in an updated way. I think that would be cool.
Legend of Dragoon could be really fucking good. I'll tell you that right now.
Yeah, I'm with you guys
Has
on
potential.
those.
They won't do it though. Fuck. Anyways.
Nier is Square, right?
Yes.
Okay, because aren't they like remaking the first one or one of the
They're
Niers?
remaking.
Yeah.
Yeah. What is it called again? It starts in. Oh my god, why am I forgetting?
I
looked at it
forget,
the other
but they're
day.
doing that one, so that's good.
Yeah.
I want to try that, play that.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's what I would say. I'm agreeing with these two over here,
Yeah.
the Square kids over here.
Oh my god. Don't even at me, dude. Oh man, someone said Xenogears in the chat. Yo, Xenogears would be lit, dude.
Xenogears is great. Great soundtrack.
I have to
Amazing
play
game.
it. I haven't played it, and I know I should. And it's just I gotta sit down and play that game. It's gonna be fucking good.
Nice,
Well,
nice.
one of the criticisms of Final Fantasy VII Remake, though, getting back to that game, people were
Yes.
talked about the battle system since it's not turn based, and of course they got the classic mode, they got the easy mode. So my issue with I don't have an issue with it. I love the battle system in the game, but my issue with turn based JRPGs has been kind of long standing for a while now, because I come from that time, like I said, Chrono Trigger, Final Fantasy VI, those games in the 90s. I played so many games like that that
me too.
I'm just so I'm just kind of spent and tired of that type of style. There's nothing wrong with turn-based combat, though. I want to make that clear. If you do it right and you make battles quick and you make them exciting and engaging, there's nothing wrong with that. There's great fun to be had. But when you have certain games like Octopath Traveler, for example, it's a great game, but it gets really repetitive pretty quick, because a lot of those battles that are just normal battles can take like 15 minutes every single time you have a random encounter in that game. And that's what I really started getting tired of in those type of JRPGs that are turn-based, because you're walking around and you have like a random encounter. Oh, I went the wrong way, and okay, I have to go back now, and I go do another 15 minutes of battles all the way back the way I should have gone. That kind of stuff. So what I really like about this game in Remake is that you don't have to worry about that kind of stuff. You can kind of get right to the action, and you can do your strategies, and you can enjoy the combat that way. It doesn't have to be a certain way to be a JRPG. You could still be a JRPG without having to be turn-based or forced turn-based combat.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
And I like that. I like that. That's why I like this new. It's not a new feel. It's kind of like a mashup of like all of the things that I ever wanted in my Final Fantasy games right now. So, and it's just I said this to a friend last night. It's a mashup of all the best parts of what Square has been doing put together with like the skin of like Final Fantasy VII to get people to play it. Well, that's not really the reason, but that's one of the reasons why people might pick up this game. And I'm so ready for them to just go down this road, obviously to give us the next 2 games because we need them. But yeah, I hope that the success of this game like shows them that like we need more games. No, maybe not we need more games, but definitely there's like a want to play more games with like this, I guess.
Yeah. I agree.
I think it's cool to take, the old system and then reshape it, evolve it, do something different with it. And I know there's going to be purists out there who are like, no, it's got to be this way, and I'm not playing it otherwise. But it's like you guys are saying, like it's good for outsiders coming in. Me personally, like if it was strictly just the traditional turn-based, like maybe with a little tweaks, like I think I would still try it. I would still want to play it. But now that it's got this kind of evolved combat where you have all this other stuff going on, of course, it's going to make me feel more good about it. Like, yeah, this is awesome. I'm enjoying this better because of the combat and because of these changes, and it's showing me something different, So that's why.
Also,
that's
Erica,
why I like it.
along with that, is that it makes every battle that you have, you can choose a different path to take on each battle. When it's forced turn-based combat for every battle, you know exactly what's going to happen pretty much every single time. It's going to be the exact same, turn-based stuff. You take your turn, you got to choose your moves. But when you have it this type of way, you can approach every battle differently if you want to. Okay, I'm going to try this on this guy, or that kind of thing. It's way more dynamic. I like that a lot. So
Yeah,
it's really,
and even
really
if you
cool.
fail, like let's say you try something, you're like, okay, this is getting my butt kicked, but at least you have that choice. Like I could switch it up, and now I'll learn from my mistakes, and I'll switch it up again. It gives you that kind of freedom to, play it how you want, like you're saying, and that's really cool. Yeah.
Yeah, and with a turn-based game, say you hit a wall, for example, what ends up
Yeah.
happening is that you have to go grind more levels out to be more powerful just to beat the enemy.
Right.
Because,
See, that's
you know,
what I was
power-
talking about
Right.
earlier.
Yeah.
But this game doesn't have that because you don't have to do that.
Exactly.
Which I like.
Yeah, exactly.
And it makes it more interesting for people because I know like a lot of my friends and stuff is like they don't play JRPGs because of that wall, because of that grind, and they're like, I'm used to it, I'm fine with it, I like being OP and like hitting guys and they're dead in one shot. But like some people just can't fucking sit there and spend the time on that because they just don't want to. So I mean, yeah.
Yeah. Let me give a shout out to Tokyo Teasy. Thank you so much for the super chat. I love this comment. It says, this is my type of podcast. It's a gaming podcast that actually talks about games while going in depth about the games. You got yourself a new viewer. Thank you so much, Tokyo. That really, that made
Cool,
my
man.
day right there. That made my day.
Nice.
That's like, I'm speaking for both of us, Shar, but that's like my goal with this show is to like get in depth when we really want to, when we're passionate about certain game. It's like, yeah, I want to get in.
And don't
there.
expect this all the time. No, I'm just kidding.
It's going to depend, like what we're most interested in,
It
of
does
course,
depend,
you know.
but
Yeah. But I think as like for the viewers, they might sense that passion more if we actually stay true to what we want to talk about. You know what I mean? I like that.
Yeah, exactly.
I think the issue that people see in gaming right now is you have a lot of media are superficial, basically, and they cover like the top end stuff, basically the top level stuff of games. They don't go really in depth, and they don't actually talk about the inner workings of these games. And then they give a review score out, and then you're like, well, okay, well, what the heck was that?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
or they generalize a game and say it was too hard, or it was too easy, or it was this, or it was that, and they don't really explain why. They just generalize it and give it a score. So
Yeah,
I think that's
true.
what people want to see more, is like more in-depth stuff about what the games are like actually to play them, not just talking about stuff. You got to actually play the games, you know what I mean, and get to a certain part and actually be able to explain what's going on in the game. So
Exactly.
that's a big disconnect we have with journalism right now, I think, with gaming, because it's more all about writing and talking, less about playing.
It's about being first too, you know, and that's kind of that's with all journalism. They just want to push something out to get it out there first, and then they don't really, you know, they miss all the good stuff. They don't talk about the stuff we really care about as real gamers. I feel like, I'd prefer to listen to something like this a little more in depth, and that would make me want to play the game more than just okay, it's a 9 out of 10. That's it.
Or at least like
know?
it tells you like what you're getting into and like if you're actually gonna be interested in it or whatever, right?
Yeah.
For people who are doing research, you know, you do research about a game before you want to buy it, right? So
Yeah, because I read a review on this game, and it said that the game had a lot of padding, and it was boring, really boring, and all kind of stuff. But they didn't really explain why. It was just like there's lots of padding in this game, and it seems like they're stretching things out for too long. And I was like, hey, what? Can you explain exactly what you mean by that? I don't understand. Then I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna play the game. And come to find out, it's not really like that. So it's like you really got to play the games for yourselves these days, or like we said, talk to somebody or listen to somebody who's actually playing these games in depth to know exactly what to expect.
Yeah. And it helps too with like specific YouTubers or journalists or somebody who's really true to like going in depth and really giving their honest opinion, because if you know their background with what kind of games they like, and if you kind of agree with their list, you might be more inclined to, okay, if they like it, then I might like it too. So it's good to get in depth just about yourself, even as a gamer, and to know what these people actually like. And then you're like, oh, well, I like those games too. So maybe this, I'll like this as well. So I think that's part of it too.
You got the common problem where they say, hey, I'm reviewing, Remake. I hate RPGs though.
Right? Exactly.
Oh my God,
exactly.
dude.
How many times does that happen?
Oh my God. Never played an RPG. Gonna go play Remake. You're like, what the fuck, dude?
Yeah, that's crazy.
And then they're like, this game sucks. And you're like, okay, next.
Well, I could have guessed that person probably would hate that game. Oh, hey, I only play Call of Duty. Gonna go play Final Fantasy VII now. Like,
right.
There's a big disconnect with that kind of stuff.
That's wild.
And people
and
can
and
change, and like people might like both of those things, but like if you're a journalist, most like 9 times out of 10, those journalists are just doing it so that they can get like the story out, like you said. So it's like they don't really, they're not really into the genre, or they're not really into like.
well, they don't have time either. Like, and
Yeah,
it's
they don't have
also
the time.
they're like, you know, so
Oh, you cut
can
out.
you
You cut
review
out, Dave.
XC7 remake? Oh, can you hear me now?
Yeah, go for it.
So, a lot of times they say like, hey, so and so is working on the review. Can you go work on the Final Fantasy VII review? Well, I don't really want to, but okay, I'll do it anyway. And then they ended up not liking the game, so because they're not.
Yeah, that's true. Well,
That's
shoot, I
true.
mean, we said a lot about this game. We're all still playing it. None of us have beat it yet. Can we expect reviews from you two? Are you guys gonna do a review, or what's the plan?
Review.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been giving my opinions on stream, like when I'm playing it.
You're gonna stream it all, like the whole game?
Yeah. I mean, I'm 15 hours in and streaming it already. I might as well
Might as
finish it
well,
off,
yeah.
right?
That's my plan too. I want to try and really stream the whole game. Give my
Yeah.
thoughts, yeah.
I might even do a hard mode run after I unlock that. We'll see. We'll see.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm planning on doing a review per se, but I already got a video up on the channel. I did get a review
Nice.
copy of the game early, but
Ooh.
there was
Yeah.
no actual agreement that I had to do a review from Square Enix. So I was like, yeah,
Hmm.
I'll just put an hour up of footage on my channel, and that was it. But I did give impressions. But yeah, doing reviews is not really my thing for games. But I do talk about them like in these type of ways in podcasts or give my opinion on them in impressions. But yeah, doing like a full review, I might not do that. But yeah, you know,
Cool.
it's good. It's fine.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah. All right then. Well, we said a lot about this. Let's go ahead and move on to the next topic, which is big news from this past week too. Right? The controller, the PS5 DualSense, was revealed. I did a video about it. I pretty much gave my feelings on there, but I want to hear from you too, especially Shar. I don't think I've heard any opinion on this from you. So what do you think about this controller? What was your thoughts on it?
It looks like a stormtrooper.
Yeah, it kind of does. It kind of does.
That was like, I saw that and I was like, is that a stormtrooper controller? What is this? I am kind of concerned. Okay, let me explain though. I'm concerned of like how it's gonna feel in my hands. And I don't know if y'all know this, but I'm fucking small. Like I'm small, TM. Like I am short, and
smaller,
my hands
smaller than me, guys. Smaller than me.
Yeah. I'm 5'2". Anyways, so I have really small hands, and so like I've held like Xbox controllers, and like Xbox controllers feel too big to me. Like they feel like they're bulky. I mean, I can get my hand around them, but like I don't like it. It's just too much plastic in my hand. So this kind of makes me concerned because it's got that like, I mean, it just looks bigger than what I'm used to. Like the PS4 controller, I know a lot of people don't like the PS4 controller. I'm holding it right now and it's like perfect for me. Like perfect. Even PS3 controller, I'm like 10 out of 10. But I don't know. I hope that I can get my hand around this controller. That's all.
How are you with the Xbox controller?
I don't have an Xbox controller, so I can't really compare right now. But I mean, how am I with it? I can play it, but I don't like to hold it.
Yeah, because it's smaller than that, so you should be fine. I don't think you have a problem with it.
Yeah.
You know what? Let me make you feel better about it, Shar. Let me make you feel better. I actually seen a picture, as like photoshopped or whatever, the outline of the DS4 inside of this controller, and they're almost the same.
Shit.
They're almost the same.
then
I
I'm
was
fine.
really shocked. I don't know if it's like the color scheme or like if it's just a tad bit curvy to like make it look bigger, because I was like you. I was like, oh, this looks bigger. Yeah. But I actually seen, I mean, I don't know how accurate it is. It was just kind of floating around on Twitter, but I've seen the outline of the DS4 on top of this picture, and it was like almost the same width.
The handles, I think, are just a little bit wide.
Yeah,
slightly.
like the handles. Yeah,
I'm
the bottom
kind
handles.
of concerned about that, but the way I hold controllers, I mean, it's a weird way of holding controllers anyways, so I mean, it shouldn't be that bad. But yeah, that was the only thing, is like I was concerned about just the size, the overall size of it. The shape, I'm not convinced on yet, but I mean, I think I'll have to hold it. The color's weird. I'm not sure if I like the white, since we've had gray and black controllers the whole entire time. But I mean, I don't mind it, especially especially if that white can be other colors. If that's the
Yeah,
case,
yeah.
that would be cool. I'm down for that though. And then yeah, we got that like mute button on the bottom. I'm down with that.
For the mic.
If your mom comes in when you're playing, you know.
Yeah, because there's a mic in there, so I
Oh,
was
there's a mic in there too?
yeah, I was
Oh,
kind
that's
of I was
weird.
kind
I
of
don't know about
concerned.
that.
Yeah, I was kind of concerned at first, but then I was on the UPP podcast. Shout out to those guys. They were talking about it, and they were saying that it's probably going to be like we really don't need to worry about it. I forget how they phrased it or why, but they think it'll be good because like was it the Vita that had a mic? One of those had a mic, and it actually worked pretty good. So they
You must not have heard. It's still going to have a mic jack for actual headphones.
right.
So
Yeah. So you probably won't hear that feedback. But the concern was, at least from us on that podcast and then myself, was the button mashing. Because if the mic is in the controller and you're hitting those buttons, like are your party chat members gonna hear that? Like that was kind of my concern with
you
that.
mean if you're using the mic in that way? Maybe,
Yeah,
but-
like you're just talking into it. You're not using a headset or anything like that. Like you're just using the mic on the controller and then pressing buttons. Like would that come through? You know what I mean?
But you know what
I
though?
feel like it would.
Speaking of the buttons, did you guys notice that they're clear, just like the Vita?
Yeah, I'm worried about that because those buttons
interesting.
are
There's no
not.
colors. Yeah, there's no
best.
colors there.
I'll tell you right now, I'm not a huge fan of that. Only because I remember like holding the Vita, it's fine. Those buttons don't feel good after a while, and I don't know what it is about it. But I mean, if they're just clear buttons and it's like the same buttons as we were used to, then I'll be fine with it. But I'm worried about the Vita was dumb in the sense that like those buttons could catch. Like that's so weird, but they did.
Well, Erica, do you have the alternate view of the controller to put up there on the screen? Because they are
grab it. I can grab
popping
it.
out of the controller a bit. So I don't think they're actually. It looks like
let
they're
me
like
grab
flat,
that.
but they're not.
Yeah,
Give me
I
a
mean, I don't
second,
mind
I'll
that.
grab it.
I'm kind of weirded out by the gray, and it's like not colored. I'm not used to having not colored buttons on my PS4 controller. Like,
So yeah, so my impressions of the controller, I think it looks good as far as the shape is concerned. I don't mind the different colors of it. I do think it's a marketing ploy by Sony though, because if you sell a controller like this, you're gonna have half of the population who buy the console saying, "Hey, where's my black controller?"
yeah,
And you can almost guarantee they're gonna color scheme the console itself to mimic this. So probably the PlayStation 5 console itself will have a black bottom and a white top to it, and people are gonna be like, okay, this is fine, I'll buy it. And then like 2 years later, they're gonna have the all jet black PlayStation 5.
Oh my God.
Right.
you already know. Oh my gosh.
Because that's what they did with the
Literally,
the Wii in 2006. They released the all white one, and then like in 2008 they released the all black one with the black controllers. So yeah, you see the controller there, how she has it up. It's all you can tell the buttons are coming up out of the controller. It's not.
I mean,
it's not
they
like
don't
they're all
look-
flat.
They don't look as raised. I'm like comparing to my DS4 right now. They don't look as raised, which is like why I'm kind of concerned because I like to have that feedback. But we'll see. Maybe it'll change. Maybe this is a render. It's probably a render, but we'll see.
Yeah, it's true. But those sticks do look good. The sticks look very
the sticks
good.
look almost identical to the
Yeah,
4.
they're like
which
the
is
same.
fine.
They look good.
The triggers look nice. Also,
Triggers look same.
another key factor is USB-C support for the battery charger. On there.
Yes.
It's going to have a much better battery, and it's going to charge really fast too.
That's what it needs. I
I'm
think.
kind of digging the raised touchpad too. I kind of dig that, especially if you can change the color behind. Ooh, baby.
It's growing on me. At first, I was like, I don't know about that. But yeah, it might turn color again, right? Like if you die in the game, like sometimes it turns red and
I mean, because the
or it's
DS4 has
Yep.
the light on like by the charging port. That's just going to be moved, I assume. If it's
if they use it the same way, because I always appreciated that, like in a game, and
That's
if
cool.
I die and then it turns red, or you know what I mean, or it turns like a different color. If I'm like using a certain skill or something like that, like I think that would be cool if they keep doing that.
Yeah, I think the only time I noticed that happen was like Horizon Zero Dawn when you're like scanning or something.
Yeah, I think it
I
did
think it
do
changes
something.
color when you scan.
That's
I forget,
true. Yeah.
I forget what color,
Yeah.
but I do remember that. Was it green? I forget. It was something.
Yeah, something like that.
That was
And
pretty cool.
as far as the gimmicky parts of the controller, I don't really
Mm,
as far as the gimmicks because it's gonna have haptic feedback and like
yeah.
adaptive triggers, or you know what I mean. Like it's the triggers gonna you can feel the torque or whatever it is on them,
Mhm.
the friction. I don't really care too much about that stuff, but it's more about the shape and the comfort of the controller that I care about.
Mhm,
The
mhm.
thing that when I think of that stuff, like the you know, vibration and things like that, when they said it'd be like when you pull back an arrow, like let's say you're using a bow and arrow, that excites me. Like imagine Horizon 2, right? And you have your arrow, your bow and arrow, and you pull that thing back and you feel that like in your like your fingers feel that. I think that's really cool. Like that's what I'm excited about. I want to see and feel what they're gonna do with that stuff. I think that'd
Yeah.
be pretty
Yeah.
awesome.
That
Yeah.
could be cool. Or if it's like more, if it's stronger in one side than the other or whatever.
Yeah, I just hope it's not one of those things kind of like, and I've said this before, like, you know, with the DS4, you got the touchpad, right? Which was used, I feel like more so when the generation started. And then like as time went on, they, you know, developers didn't really use it that much to do anything kind of cool with it. Or even the light, like the light coming out and having it change colors, like some of them just don't even do it. So I'm hoping
Yeah.
that doesn't happen again, where it's like at the beginning, they're using that technology, and then as time goes on they just kind of get like lazy about it and they don't use it anymore. Because if this controller, let's say it's priced a little higher, like you never know, it could be a little bit more expensive, and if it is, it's like, well, I want my money's worth. I want this to be like long lasting in terms of like what it does and all that. So that's what I'm kind of thinking, you know, I hope doesn't happen. But we can't, I mean, it's game to game, right? Every developer is going to use it different, so it's like, what can
I
we
think
do?
it'll be like a $69.99 controller, to be honest with you.
So maybe just $5 more. Yeah, that seems about right. That seems fair, I guess. That's still high. Controllers are so expensive, but I mean, I feel like we're so used to it, you know. And as long as it's not approaching the Pro controller on Switch territory, because that's what $80, I think.
Oh, jeez.
That's expensive, and that battery,
That's
but that
a
battery
lot.
lasts forever. See, so you kind of feel you can forgive it. Like, okay, well, yeah, we spent a good penny on this, but that battery's amazing. So if this could have that, you know, yeah, that'd
The
be
Switch
cool.
Pro controller lasts, I think, 20 hours,
Shoot,
right?
yeah,
Versus the DS4, which lasts 4 hours or so.
shoot.
yeah.
If you can get that, that might be the max. 4 hours.
What are you doing to your DS4s?
I'm probably just not charging them enough. I'm exaggerating, but you know, it's definitely under 10.
Yeah, so this needs to be 10 plus at least hours, I think, in my opinion.
Oh yeah, it's got to be. They got to improve that. I think that's a definite. Like, I think we all can agree on that. That battery needs to be looking right.
Yep.
Yeah. So, you guys gave your opinions. What can I say to add to that? I mean, I was surprised by the reveal because usually I expect like a black controller. I was expecting black because I just feel like Sony's going to come out with a black console. But then now it's like, oh shoot, they came out with the white color, and then you got the black under part of it, which I go back and forth on. It's like I look at it and I like it, and then sometimes I look at it and I don't like it. It's just because the colors, they contrast so much. It's white and black. So I think if that black was like a gray or like something a little more subtle, it would be easier on the eyes maybe. And then of course, like you guys mentioned, the buttons not having color, they're like kind of just clear. And I don't know, it's like the color scheme threw me off, and I just wasn't totally on board. But then I started seeing the mock-ups. You guys probably saw them too, where it's like all these different colors, the black on black, the colored buttons and the colored touchpad and everything like that. So I feel like there's just a lot of possibilities for just really cool looking controllers, and I'm hoping they put those out. Like, I hate to say be like Xbox, but maybe you want to be like Xbox. Give us a lot of different controllers. I think that would be cool. Like, take advantage of those different color schemes and like the different tones and all that, you know? So
I'm telling you, it's all marketing. That's all this is. It's because this is just a color scheme. That's
yeah,
all
it really is. Yeah. It is. And look, like I could talk about it. It's like, yeah, it's just colors, but
Yeah.
Sony, they know what they're doing, I guess. It's working on me.
Well, they're going to get, basically their goal is to get you to buy multiple different controllers because they're going to have
Yeah.
different colors, obviously. So they're going to start out with white and this black thing, and then everyone's going to buy that, because that's all they're going to offer. And then like next year, you're going to have different colors or something like that. And then you're going to buy more. So it's all about marketing.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense. All right. Well, one more topic, which everybody's talked about at this point, but we wanted to still give our input just a little bit, spend some time on it. And that is The Last of Us 2 being delayed indefinitely. So there's no new date, nothing. And the reason Naughty Dog is giving is the virus, shipping problems, as far as I'm understanding. I'm sure, Dave, you probably know more about it, but just problems with the world, and how it's making things more difficult, which is understandable. I mean, this is not the only thing getting, delayed or canceled. Rest in peace to the XFL for all the sports fans. They just totally canceled XFL. Like, that's just done. So, I mean, we're constantly seeing things just go to crap when it comes to our entertainment, when it comes to the movies, they're being delayed and all of that. So this isn't surprising. But with other games coming out still, it kind of makes me wonder, like, is there more to this? I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you think it's strictly the reason Naughty Dog gave, or is there like more to it? Like, what are you guys thinking with this?
Well, can I go first?
Go for it.
So the thing is that a lot of people called them out and said, hey, why don't you just release it digitally, because so you'll make everybody happy and get the game out on time, which they could have done, right? Obviously, they said the game was completed, but the big problem that I think people kind of forgot about was that Sony has an agreement with these retailers ahead of time, like months and months and months in advance. This is PlayStation's biggest release for the PlayStation 4. So for them not to have enough retail physical copies available for Europe, I think Europe is the big problem here, because Europe has issues with their shipping publishing issues over there, all these different regulations. So I think what they're trying to do is they're trying to release the game simultaneously to avoid spoilers of the story. So they want to release it simultaneously, physically and digitally, and make sure everyone has their available copy because of these agreements they have with retailers. Because they make millions and millions of dollars of profit, obviously, from selling these games to the consumers physically, because they already have these agreements with them. So for them to be like, okay, we're going to release it just digitally and physically in this area, and forget about you guys over there in Europe, I don't think it works that way for Sony, because they have these predetermined agreements with these retailers. I think that's the main reason why they're delaying the game.
It makes sense, because the spoiler thing and just money in general, they don't want to leave money on the table. And a lot of us were like, why can't you just release it digital? But I mean, obviously they want those physical sales. They got probably pre-existing contracts, like these retailers are going to get so many copies and all of that. So it makes sense. It's just maybe there's something subconsciously in me that's like, I don't want to believe it. Like I want there to be more reason, or I just want this game already. It's just been so long. It's already experienced a delay beforehand, which is nothing new for Naughty Dog. I mean, we're kind of used to that. But to not have a date, to just... And then another thing too, it gets me thinking, I put on my conspiracy hat, like maybe they took this horrible situation. I'm not trying to say it's evil or something, but maybe they thought, you know what? Maybe we can just push this to the PS5. Like maybe we could just, delay it indefinitely. We don't have a date.
I'm sure they're thinking about it.
Yeah,
now.
and that's more
it
money
may end
right
up
there
that way.
too. Yeah.
Yeah.
I would not be shocked if that happened. I mean, I'm sure a lot of us
But-
wouldn't
but-
be.
But that would be one reason why they would be delaying it, because of that part of it right there. People not being able to get the game that had previously had the contract at retailers to get it. That would be the main realistic reason I can think of. Because like say, for example, because Xenoblade Chronicles on the Switch is getting released on May 29th. That's not being delayed. But that game is not as big as Last of Us 2. They probably had millions of pre-orders for that game. So for them to delay it for certain regions and not honor those pre-orders for Last of Us 2, that's a big problem. So it makes sense they had to delay it because of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think at this point too, it's like I'm on board with that. Like, you know what? We're here already. You might as well just put it on the PS5. Like that's how I'm kind of feeling. Like at this point, I mean, let's say they move it to fall, but then the PS5 comes out in spring, or it does come out in fall. It's like, hey, well, just release it with the console, That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know, Shar, you're not the biggest Last of Us fan.
I mean,
But what are you thinking?
yeah, I never played the first one, and I mean, I'm not like anticipating the second one, but I understand like that a lot of people are like looking forward to it. So yeah, it kind of sucks. If it was a game that I was looking forward to, I'd kind of be questioning it and like being concerned that I wouldn't be able to get my copy on the console that I wanted on. So
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Also, there was a big problem with Final Fantasy VII Remake getting completely spoiled. Also,
oh
so they may
shit,
be wanting to avoid that sort of situation as well
Yeah.
that's
with
true.
this game because that was pretty bad. It was spoiled like what, 2 weeks in
Yeah,
advance. So
Damn.
something like
leaked.
that. Yeah, yeah, it was nuts.
Well, I don't know if you
I
guys
didn't see
saw.
it, but
Oh, okay. Sorry to cut you off. I don't know if you guys saw the Last of Us footage going around. It was like leaked.
Oh yeah, that
What?
A
was leaked.
couple
Yeah.
scenes. It wasn't really like
They
story
leaked it?
spoilers, but it was just like
God
game. It was
damn it.
gameplay. Somebody doing some kind of play testing or something. They let it out, and
Well, the internet's trash.
yeah, and I'm sure Naughty Dog. They all know it. They don't want to
Yeah.
get it. But what if that makes it harder to keep under wraps? Like the more time that goes by
Yeah.
and by and by, and it's like, dude, someone's gonna leak this stuff eventually.
Eventually,
Yeah. So I'd be kind of spooked if I was them. Like, well, we could wait, but we can't wait that long. We got to get this thing out when we can.
Yeah.
Well, there's one thing that Sony could do to make this problem fixed and still release it on time, which obviously they're not going to. But there's one thing they could do, and that would be give people in Europe, for example, vouchers to get the physical copy when it's available, and just download it digitally on day one.
Could
Yeah.
do that.
Yeah.
But they're not going to do that. So what can you do?
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, all we can do is wait and see what happens. I mean, this is one of the biggest games that is coming out for the PS4. Now it could be both with the PS5. They could pull a Zelda Breath of the Wild on us and just put on both, and you know what I mean? Like that could easily happen. And unless there's of course back compat is a thing, and I don't know. It's gonna be interesting to see what happens.
Well, I mean, to give the chat an idea of how big this game is to remember last September, they had originally announced this game to be releasing in February of 2020. So that means that these retailers have been waiting to sell this game physically since probably July of last year, of 2019, because they have to talk to them in months in advance to plan and release. So it's a gigantic release for PlayStation. So for them to miss physical launch in Europe, Sony probably was like, we can't do that. We have to have simultaneous launch.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
That's rough.
It's all about money at the end of the day, I guess. It's all this
Exactly.
stuff. Yeah, but that's all we really got as far as major topics for the show. We did not figure out a top 5 for this week, but I was just thinking if the chat wants to throw some questions at us or give us a topic maybe or something we can close out with. Yeah, that would be cool.
Yeah.
But this was a good show. We did a lot
Any
of
questions about Final Fantasy VII Remake in the chat?
I was gonna say we're not gonna spoil story, but like anybody want to talk to us about the system because like we
Maybe
know
there's a
it.
gameplay feature we missed that we should have covered. I don't know.
We covered a lot, but there's a lot to the game. There could be something we didn't touch on. Yeah. Hustle. Shout out to Hustle. My question is why Shar hasn't played The Last of Us. That's a good question.
Oh my god.
She's
Okay.
gonna be the
because
Last of Us to play.
oh my god. It's funny. I get it. No, I haven't played it because I just I wouldn't say nothing about the game entices me, but it's not my kind of game. When that game came out, there was a lot of like zombie shooter games and stuff like that, and it was just like the zombie like hype was like really real when that game came out. So they were kind of riding off that, I think. But I'm not a huge fan of like the zombie apocalypse kind of like story. And I know it's not really zombies, whatever, it's infected, blah blah. But I just really I just don't get anything out of those games. Like entertainment wise, it's just not fun.
You know what it is though in Last of Us is the character story arc between.
I mean, I'll watch
is.
it, but like I'll watch the game being played. Like I'm totally fine with that. But like, because for like the story reasons, yeah. But like, I don't know if I could like sit through that game and not. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. I mean, it is kind of like that.
Yeah.
What's the word? It's been kind of overdone. I mean, the zombie thing, but it's different in the game. I mean, how they became that way, and it's more of like a
I know it's all
more of
like
a
it's different, but it's different, and everybody's like, "Oh, it's so good. The story's so good," and I'm like, I know all these things. It's just it still doesn't make me want to play the game.
but
I
it's
don't
still the same tone of like a zombie movie or game
Yeah.
where you're
Yeah, maybe it's the
hiding,
tone.
you're waiting for them to
I don't
walk
know.
by, you're throwing a bottle to take their eyes off of you, and
Yeah,
stuff like
I don't
that.
know.
So
It's something about like I don't want to say the genre because it's not the genre, but yeah, it's something about like the feel of the game just doesn't do
the
anything for me.
intense feeling of like hiding,
Yeah.
and it's definitely got that
Yeah.
for sure. For sure.
Becky said, "How many parts to Final Fantasy do you think there will be in total?" It's not confirmed, but we're expecting 3.
Yeah, I'm expecting 40 to 50 hour game.
Yeah, me too.
3 of them. Okay.
3 of them. So like this will be the first one. We'll get the second one maybe in a year or so, and then the third one.
And I'm expecting the second one to be completely different than this one. This one, due
Yes.
to the story, as far as what happens after after we get past Midgar. That's not really a spoiler, but after you get past Midgar, I expect the game to be a lot different. And we know that pretty much in this game takes place mainly in Midgar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm expecting the second part of this game to be like the battle system. I'm expecting the battle system to be the same, if not very similar to how I keep coming back to 13, but there's a lot of similarities. How 13 was in 3 parts and how the battle system was fundamentally different, or sorry, fundamentally the same throughout the 3 games with like little changes here and there. If they do that, I'm not going to be mad at it. But either they're going to have the same system through all the 3 games, or they're going to have like just little tweaks here and there, which I'm totally fine either way.
Well, the game can work just fine in any setting. How they have it right now, the way you control your character is just fine for any setting they have. So I think the battle system may be tweaked a little bit, but I think they'll keep the core aspect from what they started. Yeah. So we got a question about what is from Beggy Beg. What is the biggest flaw in Remake that each of you think? So for me,
biggest flaw. Go ahead.
Them textures.
For me, the biggest flaw I think is some of the inconsistencies in the presentation. Basically, like some really bad moments at the graphics and some of the character models that shouldn't basically not be there. To be honest with you, if the game's been developed for 5 years, so yeah.
I don't know if there's any. I mean, other than the textures, I don't know if I've really seen much like quote unquote like flaws with it, in the sense that like something has failed. The only like kind of glitchy thing I ran into was my character wouldn't move forward for a bit in a certain part that I can't spoil. But
I saw that part. I saw your stream.
Yeah, you saw that part. But I couldn't
funny.
I couldn't move my character because I was like stuck on a corner. But that was only in that one part, and it hasn't happened since. I think it was because of something with the scene, or the way I approached the scene. But that's really the only thing that like has happened. I don't know really if you have flaws. I'd have to think about it. I have to play more. I think if I was going to see like the flaws,
Yeah, I think you could maybe say a little bit of the field of view and camera angles is a partial flaw.
Oh, yeah. I was going to tell you. You can change that in the options. There's a way that you can actually like pull back the character.
That's what I was wondering. I thought they removed it. I was tripping out.
Check, guys, when you start a new game, please go check all your options.
I did, Char.
No,
I did.
Fuck you. No, you didn't. Because there is a field. There's a field of. It's not like I don't actually know how far. No, it's not called field of view. I can't remember off the top of my head what it's called. But there is a setting that you can make it so that it's like pulls back from the character more. And guys, I don't actually know how far it goes from the character. But you can change it. That is an option. I'm just saying.
Because I found it in the demo, right? Like I did it for the demo, and then I played the full game, and the chat, nobody like corrected me or knew, and I was like, wait, I don't see this option anymore. Did they remove it? And I was like tripping out.
Nope.
I'm like, Why would they remove that? Like, that's crazy.
Eric got it. It's called camera distance, and you can change the camera distance from when you're running around in battle and in like just regular.
Got you. All right,
regular world.
I'll do
But
that.
I
then.
don't know. I'd have to see a comparison of how far it goes out.
I don't think it totally
goes that
fixes
far.
all the issues, but yeah,
No.
better.
It might help, I guess. We have a question from Twitch. Caboose asked, do you guys like the subtle foreshadowing FF7 does for those who have played vanilla FF7?
I live for that subtle foreshadowing in this game. It is done so well. Every time there's like a flashback sequence or like a little bit of like, you know, that grainy like flashbacky stuff, it just makes me so excited because I know it's coming. But like for people not
No
like
spoilers though.
Knowing about people who don't know the game or haven't played the game at all, they're like super confused. They're like, what is this? I don't want to know more, and it makes me want to play more. But like for us who know what's happening, it's just like a little nice like treat, and like the way they've like presented that stuff is really nice.
Yeah, because they changed that. Wasn't in the first game. They changed that.
There's a couple of flashback sequences in the original game, but you don't really know they're flashbacks. And then like some of the like, I'm gonna say there's dream sequences. It's an RPG. You can expect dream sequences. There's dream sequences in this game, and you can very much tell when they're there. And also in like the older game, there were dream sequences, and you were like very confused, like what the hell is this? But so those are like really similar. But oh man, I'm so excited! It's so good. Ah yes.
Well, there you go.
Exactly.
Is that your thoughts too, Dave? Because I didn't play the whole original.
Yeah, no, I'm not quite as excited as she is, but yeah, it's cool.
That's cool. That's cool. All right. Well, I think that about does it. Tokyo was asking, do you guys think they'll drop a new part every year or two?
Every year or two? It depends, like, how much they're going to change and how much they have to make of the environments. Because, like we were talking about, this game only goes until the end of Midgar. Which, if you've played the original game, after Midgar, there's a whole fucking world map. Like a JRPG does to you. It's just like, here, have a fucking world map. And you're like, oh, gods. So I'm really interested to see how they do the world map. If there's going to be a world map, how they're going to go through that. I feel like that's going to be the point where people are going to get, if they do it the way I'm thinking they're going to do it, people are going to get angry.
You know what though? The thing is Square Enix never promised there to be part 2 or part 3 on PlayStation 4.
True.
This might be PlayStation 5 stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
So they could potentially do a lot more with it. But
big open world could be easily done on PS5. So
that's and I really hope it does happen. Because if that, I don't know. Because if you know, if they do the quote unquote hallway maneuver, that people are gonna get up in arms about that shit. I'm totally fine with it personally, but like people get angry.
I'm gonna put a prediction out there. I don't think we'll see part 2 until 2022.
Ooh, okay. So
I was gonna say
2022
2022 as well. I was gonna say 2
That's
years
not too
just
far.
in case.
Because they're already making it, obviously. So and they already have their vision.
Yeah.
So I think probably by April of 2022 or holiday 2022, part 2, and then hopefully they'll have also part 3 done right after that as well, a lot quicker. So by maybe holiday 2023 or so, if we're lucky, we'll have all 3 games out.
Yeah, for sure. Last question for me, actually, Nick. Says, hey Erica, if you do end up liking all the parts of the remake, do you see yourself playing the original FF7? Yes, I do, because after I played the demo, I actually went back to the original and played up till, the demo ended in the original. And I thought it was really cool to have like that perspective on it and to see the new game first and then go back and see like how close it was or how different. And I think that was really cool. So I could imagine myself doing that more so when the other games come out. That'd be really cool. Yeah. So that's it, you guys, unless you have something else to end with. You got a last minute something to say? Or are we done?
Preemptively block me because that's all I'm going to be talking about for the next year. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, dang. Yeah,
I'm kidding.
If you don't want spoilers, I guess don't follow Char, block her, just block her right now.
Don't watch my streams. No.
But if you do want to see her, you know, maybe shed some tears, get really hype, she's the
I
one
haven't
to go
shed
to.
tears yet. I haven't shed
I'm
tears yet. on this
surprised.
one.
I was gonna ask you too.
I shed
like,
tears on the demo, but like no.
Well, a lot of these guys follow BG. He's been playing the entire game too. So
shit.
spoilers, don't watch his streams either.
Yeah, a lot of people just doing playthroughs, and mine's probably gonna be like the one that's lagging behind everyone else because I'm not going full like 24/7 on it. But if you do want to catch me playing it, I'll probably be you know, not as far ahead. It might be a little more safer. So come over to my stream. Nah, but
Come over to Erica's stream. We'll tell you how to play.
yeah, watch somebody play it wrong and then learn and get better, and it's a fun time. It's a good time. But yeah.
I'm excited to see you get more aggressive with the game yourself, Erica, in your play style. So yeah,
I am so excited.
I want to see more.
Yeah. I'm on it.
Erica's gonna be a Final Fantasy fan soon. I'm so excited.
You're gonna see me next time. Next time you see me on camera or something, I'm gonna have a tattoo of Cloud on my arm or something. Something crazy. Okay, before we go, Char, can we have a comment on Sephiroth? Can we please get a comment?
You mean the GOAT, the best character in the game?
Because you were talking kind of crazy last night. You were talking a little crazy, so maybe maybe make it a little PG-13 and like tell everybody what you were saying about him.
I was saying that I would not complain if Sephiroth choked me out because I love him so much.
Yikes.
Okay, I really like him. Okay, that's all I'm just saying. Also, play the game in Japanese because the Japanese voice acting is fucking spot on. Anyways, that's it.
Wow. You hear that? You heard it here, you guys. She would not mind being choked.
I would be stabbed by him and thank him for it.
Oh my god.
Wow. Crazy. So yeah, that's a good note to end on, I guess. Dave, thank you, Dave, for being here. It was fun. Did you have a good time? It was fun.
Yeah, I had a great time. Thanks for having me.
Yeah,
good stuff.
For sure. Let everyone know where they can find you if they have not seen your content yet.
You can just find me at SMetalDave on Twitter or SuperMetalDave64 on YouTube. That's just type it in. You'll find me easily.
Awesome. Yeah, thanks for being here. And Char, outro or that's it.
You want
the choking and the stabbing. I mean, if you want to end with that, I'm good.
You know, I really like Sephiroth. That's all I have to say.
And I've been Erica. Erica's for the win. You guys know where to find me. I'm everywhere with that name. Thank you so much for listening, and we will see you next time. Bye.